What's up, y'all? It's your boy Marcel P. Black checking in. It's been a little minute, but now I'm back with part two of why my song Black Love is my greatest song ever. So I'm really proud of the song because I'm proud of the hook. I wrote the hook. Big shout out to Sister Amani. She absolutely bodied it. You know what I'm saying? No, she sent it back to me fairly quick. I'm really proud of my pen. Like, there's a version of me representing it somewhere. I might post it one day, but I actually wrote the song, I wrote the hook, and I referenced it or whatever. And I just started doing it on my voice notes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had the melody, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like the going back and forth type situation. And I'm kind of good at those, you know what I'm saying? I have a hook that goes back and forth. That's kind of my thing. But yeah, I just came up with the melody, and I started singing it to my voice notes, and then I, went and laid it down. It goes, in love with everything about you, your heart, your soul, your rock, your roll. I never want to live without you, cause if you go, my heart turns cold. No matter what they say about you, you are my light, you shine like gold. I can tell the world. So I wanted something that kind of went against the melody of what D'Angelo did, but I wanted to end the verse with I can tell the world to kind of bring it back with D'Angelo. So, you know what I'm saying? This is me singing to black music. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily talking to a woman. You know, God is a black woman. You know what I'm saying? But I'm singing to black music. Yeah. So the second verse starts off, black music is God's music. And that's the reason why these devils try to dilute it. These are expressions of the blood in the soil, written in the fields while ancestors toiled. But to you it's entertainment. To us it's harmonies from bottom of the slave ship. It's a soul documentation, reflections of oppression in this colonized nation. So I start the verse out very similar. You know what I'm saying? Black music is God's music. And that's the reason why these devils try to dilute it. You know what I'm saying? They understand how powerful African art, African expression, black art, black culture is. And so if, the music industry is ran by white supremacists, it is a capitalist institution. It is always going to be a situation to where it exploits labor, exploits talent, exploits genius, gives them a little bit of the money while they make the majority of the profits, because that's what capitalism is, right? But on top of that, you know what I'm saying, they understand how powerful the African tongue is, the African mind is, the African creativity is. And so the things that they exploit and try to put out there, a lot of it's talent, but it's poison on purpose. So they know that black music is God's music, and that's the reason why these devils try to dilute it. These are expressions from the blood in the soil, written in the fields where our ancestors toiled. So once again, I'm saying, like, hey, this is an extension of what we call Negro spirituals or slave hymns or whatever you want to call them, enslaved hymns, you know what I'm saying, during the peculiar institution of chattel slavery. So it's an extension of those particular things, you know what I'm saying? But to you it's entertainment. To us it's harmonies from bottom of the slave ship. So listen, I know a lot of white people, non-black people who love hip hop, they love black art, they love black culture, but they don't like black folks. They might not be able to connect with the struggle which this comes from, but they love it as an entertainment. So I learned this a long time ago, and I teach this as an African American studies teacher, and I'm hip hop studies class, that the first form of pop culture in America was minstrel shows, right? Minstrel shows, and they call it the first form of pop culture because it was one of the first things that brought affluent whites, poor whites, free blacks, and enslaved blacks together, right? And it was all at the helm of black degradation, black nihilism, you know what I'm saying, anti-black, you understand what I'm saying? But these people were very, very, very talented. So that's the thing, and we learned that when we watched Bamboozle, right? Like, when you watch Bamboozle, they have a modern day minstrel show, but the brothers was really talented. They were really funny, they really could dance, they really could sing, they really were good at their instruments, right? And so that's the reason why you have a lot of people who can claim to be MAGA but love hip-hop, because they love the art, they think it's entertaining. Even people who aren't MAGA, you know what I'm saying? People who, they love to be entertained by the black degradation, just a talent period, but they don't want to do nothing to help out with the conditions that African Americans are in. So when I say, for you it's entertainment, for us it's harmonies from bottom of the slave ship. when our people were being kidnapped and transported from the continent of El Capitan over to the wilderness of North America, Turtle Island or whatever you want to call it, you had warring tribes who had no clue about what was about to happen to them. And so they called out to their God in song. People who might have been trying to kill each other, beefing with each other over cattle, land, or whatever on the bottom of the slave ship, who did not like each other, but they understood that we're in this together. And so they were harmonized together. Sometimes you had people from different languages. They didn't even speak the same language because they were from different tribes or different parts of Africa, you know what I'm saying, from the continent or whatever in their area, and they were harmonized together.
Jay Philly
right? So y'all can find it entertainment, but to us, it is spiritual. It's God's way to communicate, right? To us, it's harmonies from the bottom of the slave ship. It's a soul documentation, reflection of oppression in this colonized nation. That's pretty self-explanatory. It is gospel, it is blues, it is jazz, it is pop, it is soul, it is funk, R&B, house and pop, it's trap, it's conscious, hyphy and boom bap, G-funk and coke rap, bounce music and backpack. Lord have mercy. All of this comes from that. What I just mentioned, from the plantation, from the bottom of the slave ship, from the fields, all those art forms and many, many more. And those are just the things that was birthed here in America, that came from Africa. That, you know what I'm saying? You know, stuff that it's a continuation of what was going on the continent of El Capitan. You know what I'm saying? In the 54 countries. Well, they're 54 countries now, right? But back then, the continent of Africa, that's just what was born here. That is black music. These different expressions with different accents. Hyphy had music has an accent, you know what I'm saying? Just like bounce music has an accent. But it's all the same language. It's God's language, right? And so, you know, I'm a hip hop head, but I try not to be a purist because I understand that different subgenres and different things are reflections of indigenous folks. You know what I'm saying? Let me not say that again. Reflections of things that are indigenous to the African people where they live at, right? So you sound like this because your tribe sounded like this who was brought to New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? When your family moved from New Orleans to California, you know what I'm saying? I've been to Oakland and seen a huge New Orleans influence because everybody's grandparents are from Louisiana. The same day when I go to Chicago, a lot of these accents are very, very similar to the South because that's where their grandparents came from. But once it goes up there, it sounds a little different. Yes, it has a lot of Mississippi flavor, but it's in Chicago. But different things going on in Chicago, which informs the way people talk and they speak. And that's what makes the music. So for me, yes, you know what I'm saying? I recognize that hip hop was born in New York, in the Bronx, or what have you. But a lot of those are Caribbeans. A lot of those were Southerners. You understand what I'm saying? And so, but that's even then, that's a particular accent. I don't expect someone who was born and raised in Alabama, I'm not going to call them not hip hop because they don't have the accent like New York. If anything, it's really hip hop because they're not trying to sound like anybody else and they sound like where they come from. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the beauty of culture. That's the beauty of art. That's the beauty of hip hop. That's the beauty of black music. It has different accents. It has different flavors or whatever. And it's all black music. Oof. Oof. Let me get a breather. All right. Old school, new school, past, present, future. Ain't got no patience for no culture appropriators. I'll turn it to a shooter if I see that you abuser. God is a black woman and the proof is in the music. Let's go. I'm 42. I know some incredible MCs in their 60s. I know some incredible MCs that are teenagers. The goal is to maintain culture. The goal is to maintain God's message. The goal is to maintain influence and power and maintain this vocal instrument that we have and this, you know, whatever we can play, this soul that we have, right? I don't care if it's, to me, a lot of people act like hip hop died after 90, after Biggie died or whatever, in 2000s or whatever. Man, hip hop will forever be here because black music will forever be here. God's music will ever be here. And it's up to us to be prophets of this music, of this culture, right? I turn into a shooter if I see that you abuser. Me shooting is seeing over vocal rappers. Me shooting is seeing people trying to scam people or misappropriating, you know, whatever, do bad by the culture. Like, you know what I'm saying? God is a black woman. Let me say that clear. And the proof is in her music. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Once again, I absolutely was influenced by Sinners. It is gospel, it is blues, that part, you know what I'm talking about. What Buddy is singing, you know what I'm saying? In the juke joint. And they put all the different types of black music in the juke joint from ever and all the influences. I absolutely was influenced by Sinners. Like, I gotta say that. Shout out to Ryan Coogler, because that part was amazing. I absolutely was in tears watching that in the movie theater. I absolutely was shouting like I was at the concert. Like it was a religious experience for me. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I mean to me. Is like music speaks to me in a way that church doesn't. You know what I'm saying? I feel the spirit. You know what I'm saying? When I hear black music, when it's well done. You know what I mean? This video is almost 10 minutes, so I'm gonna stop right there. But yeah. So I gave you the first verse last time. I gave you the hook, and I broke down the second verse. I'm gonna do the last part. You know, when I really go to church on the last part, it's not gonna be as long or whatever. Maybe I'll try to get Jay Philly on here with me. But yeah, Black Love. Shout out to everybody who's been streaming it, who's been buying it, who's been, you know what I'm saying, getting physical CDs. I'm rehearsing. I'm in the gym. I'm getting ready to go on tour. I got one show in Tulsa, you know, May the 9th. It's kind of be like a soft album release party. But tour starts June 5th in Seattle. And I'm going all the way into July 29th. You know what I'm saying? I got about 17 shows in about maybe 16 different states, I want to say. No, about 15 different states. You know what I'm saying? So I'm cooking. Go to marcelpblack.bandcamp.com. You know what I'm saying? Please buy the album, stream it digitally, buy the physical CD, you'll get a digital copy. And then after that, you can go to Spotify, Apple Music, and Tidal, whatever. If you're going to stream, it sounds the best on Apple Music. But none of it sounds as good as a CD. I already made a video about that. Big shout out to Jay Philly. Thank you. I love you so much, my brother. marcelpblack.bandcamp.com. At Marcel P. Black Official on Instagram. Marcel P. Black on TikTok. Black Love Tour coming soon. Allah Mahabit, freedom.
Jay Philly produced this.
Yo, come on. Black music is God's music. I can speak for you, but that's the reason I do it.